Hey guys, this is Gloria. I am back to share with you guys a little project that I just completed. I had this project in mind when I picked up this item from the Dollar Tree, and some of you guys may remember me picking this skirt up from, did I say Dollar Tree? I meant to say Goodwill. I picked this skirt up from Goodwill. It is an old school wool skirt, and it has these buttons down the front as well as these pleats. I want to say it might have been half price, but if not, it was probably $4.99. But it's an old school skirt, as you can see, Maryland Fogs or Togs, I don't know. But anywho, I just thought that the material was really, really cute, and it was different and not something that you would normally be able to pick up at like your Joann or something like that. So I used that, and I also used these little Miss Sparkle & Co. 3 mini chalkboards, and I'm not sure if Joann still has them, but they did have them in their little Sparkle & Co. Section. I actually need to look for some more because they are so handy, but if you don't have those, you can definitely make your own little stand. I also used a little bit of trim from my stash, this crushed velvet brown trim. I believe it came from Hobby Lobby. And then I used this, and it's a stretchy sequin trim, and it worked great. So I used that as well. I'm not sure where I got that stretchy, what do you call it, trim from, but I did use it. And then I went old school, and I made me some hand cut stencils. Because let's face it, crafting is all about handmade, and I know that we love our gadgets and our machines, which I absolutely love mine and all my dies, but I just wanted to kind of freehand and freestyle something, and so these are the 3 that I came up with, and that is what I used one of those so far. So let me share with you guys. Oh, and I did use my hot glue gun. No sewing involved. I did create this little Christmas tree, and I love, love, love the way it came out. That is the back side of it. That's how it looks underneath. And again, I just used all hot glue, and I think that it came out really, really cute and homemade, handmade looking. So I love the way this came out, and I wanted to share with you guys how easy it is to create one for yourself. So again, if you don't have these little stands, and this is what the stand would have looked like Joann. So you would take this stand, and you would just stick this stick down inside of here, and then you can write on here. But I didn't use them for that. What I did was I just popped off the little stick part, and I used these 2 pieces right here. So if you don't have that, this is just a wooden piece, a wooden heart that I have, and this one is actually painted black. But if it weren't, you know, it would just be the wood color. And all you would do is just take your stick, and you would take a little glob of hot glue. And remember, it is handmade, so we don't have to be perfect. And I think that a lot of times we get hung up on perfection instead of just crafting and having fun. So you could either take your drill and drill a hole in this heart and put the stick down in that hole, or you can just, you know, hot glue this stick down to this piece of wood. Let it dry really, really good before you move it, because this glue is not set up yet. But once it dries really well, it should be fine enough for you to use as your base for your tree. So all you would do is you could take felt, you could take any other kind of material that you have. Sorry about that. Like I said, I had this skirt, and I wanted to use it because I thought the pattern, the material was really pretty. So I've been cutting it up, and so I'm just gonna excuse me, I'm just gonna cut out a piece of the fabric so that we could make another little skirt or little tree, not skirt. We just need another piece. And all I'm doing is just cutting it up, that's all. Give me 1 minute. And this time, for this one, I want to make the tree a little bit skinnier because I want them to all be the same material, but I want the fabric, you know, the fabric to be the same, but I want it to be a little skinnier. So you're gonna flip your material if you're using material that is directional, or if you're using material that has a pattern only on one side, like felt. It's okay. You can just, you know, because felt looks the same on both sides most times. But if, in this case, I have, this is the front side here, and this is the back side. And so I'm just going to flip it so that the two pretty sides are together. And the next thing that I want to do is I could either, you know, make a pattern like I did here, or I could, you know, freehand draw it onto here. Now this pattern is kind of big because it was about the size of my other one, and I want it to be skinnier than this. So I'm just going to kind of freehand, and this is a friction pen. Friction pens are erasable with heat, and so you could actually erase this if you just take an iron to it. So I'm just going to draw a line, and like I said, it's very, you know, it's free-handed. We're just gonna make a little triangle, and then we're gonna take some scissors. Make sure you don't use your paper scissors for cutting fabric, but we're gonna just cut out our little triangle. Super duper simple project. So now we have our two pieces, and what we're going to do is we're going to hot glue. Now you could do sewing if you want, just, you know, take it to your sewing machine and sew straight down the two sides and in the bottom, but we're going to go easy peasy. Remember, the right sides are together, and we're just going to take our glue gun, and we're going to try to make an even line, but you know, it's not always so even, especially when you're standing up trying to craft on video. So then I'm just gonna turn this around, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. All I'm doing is just taking the hot glue and running it down the side, and I'm gonna close it up, and I'm gonna pat it down. And I just wanna make sure that my glue sticks good, so I won't have any open holes, okay? And so now my two, just clean my mat, so I'm trying to keep it clean, y'all. So now we have our two sides already glued together. And so before we turn it to the opposite side, you may want to clip this little edge off. And be very careful, because I really don't know, you know, like if I sewed this, I would know where I could clip, but I don't really know how far up I could clip. So I'm just going to clip off just a tiny bit. And then I'm going to flip this right side out. And what I could do is take the little stick that you have that's going to go in the middle, and you're going to want to push that top portion out as much as you can, just to make sure that you have enough of a point. So I'm just taking this and kind of just pushing it in there, same as if you were sewing this together, right? So I'm going to push that in there and try to get that to come out as best I can. Okay, so this is what we're left with so far. So now what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to glue some of the bottom closed. And, you know, you want to leave part of it open so that you can turn it. So I'm just going to kind of go close to the edge, but not all the way. And I'm just going to glue that part closed. And then I'm just going to flip this back around. And you may, you know, bust open some of your bottom. That's okay. Because you're going to come back in and glue it back together anyway. So, but anywho, I bust open a lot of my bottom this time. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Because you're gonna fold that bottom half in anyway. So, and then you want to make sure that those points at the bottom are pushed all the way closed. I'm just gonna actually trim off a little bit of that, and then I'm going to flip this around like this. And I'm going to fold this in half. And if you have a iron handy, you can definitely do this with an iron. But I'm just going to fold it in half a little bit, and I'm going to take care of closing that back up. See, that's what you're going to do. You're going to just close it back up so that your edges are back closed up, because you don't need that much space to stuff it, but you do need some space to stuff it. Okay, so that is that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to get your stuffing, and you can use an old pillow. In this case, I have some polyfield. Looks like this. Sorry to be so close, but it actually also came brand new in the bag from Goodwill. I shared it in one of my haul videos, I'm sure. You're going to take your polyfield and you're going to pull it apart. You always want to pull polyfield apart, because if not, your project will be clumpy and lumpy. And I don't know, I learned this years ago when I was in high school and I was just learning how to sew and all that good stuff. My sewing teacher told us that anytime you're working with polyfield, you want to pull it apart and fluff it up. So that is what I still do to this day. So you're going to take a little bit of your polyfield and you're going to feed it inside of your little Christmas tree. And you want to make sure that you get it all the way up in the top portion. And if you need help, you can always use your stick and get in there and kind of push it. But, you know, it does not have to be perfect. So just get some in there. So we just want to fluff it out. Don't want to make it too tight, but we do want to make sure that it is, you know, it has polyfield in the inside of it and it's fluffy. And then you also always want to check both sides. Look at the front, look at the back, see where you need more or less, and adjust your polyfield to make sure that you have it looking the way you want it to look. And in this case, you also want to look at your seams to make sure that nothing is coming apart. If it is, you want to go back in with your glue gun and make sure that that part is, you know, tacked back together. So that is it so far. We're gonna just leave it like that. And then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to kind of close up this bottom, and I'm just pulling it and making a little seam. and I'm putting hot glue down inside of there, and I'm pulling it as I glue it shut. Okay. And also you want to see where you're going to put your stick. So I think we should put the stick right there. And so I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue on my stick, and I'm gonna just stick it right down inside where I want it to lay. Okay, and then I'm gonna hot glue around the stick. So I'm just going to put some hot glue inside of here, and then I'm going to pull it closed, and be very careful not to burn yourself, but I'm gonna pull it closed, and then I'm gonna just tack it and make sure that both sides are closed down with the hot glue. See? Cute, right? So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little stick from Joanne, my little base, because I don't want that to come out, because some of them they don't rest very well. But I just put a little bit of hot glue down inside that hole, and then I just put my stick down inside of there and just hold it until it all sets up. And if you don't like that you see hot glue around the base, you can always come back with a little bit of glitter, and you want to hold it and make sure that the glue sets up, because I keep moving it. But make sure your glue sets up. But that is it. You take your little tree, and of course I didn't let my glue set up all the way, so I'm just going to redo that. All I'm doing is just taking the glue out. And you can use a stronger glue if you like than hot glue. I just like hot glue because it's normally pretty quick to set up. But in this case, it's taking a little bit of time, but that's okay. But you can always do this before you put the stick inside of your little tree. I love this one. It's so cute. And you know, you just let it set up, and while it's setting up, you can actually go in and, you know, get whatever type of trim or whatever you want to decorate your tree with. If you wanted to use buttons, you can use buttons. If you want to use twine, I have some pearls that would also look really cute. Here's the little pearls that I have. You know, different kind of pearls can go on there. That would look really, really cute as well. I think that I may take the buttons off of this skirt, because it did have some buttons on it right here. I'm thinking I may take the buttons off of here and hot glue them onto my tree. Let's see how that would look. You know what? I actually want to do it where I keep I'm going to do this. I want to actually keep the thread in the button, so I won't have to put thread in the button. So I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue on the back of my button where the thread is. And then I'm just going to trim the rest of the material off of the back of the button. That way I don't have to rethread the button. Oh, that's cute. So see how that looks? And put your little buttons on there. So I think that's what I'll do. I will put my little buttons on my Christmas tree, and I'll be done with this little project. I think I will go back and do one more to have a total of 3 little trees. And again, all I did was just cut the button off, but I cut it off with the material. I'm gonna trim off the excess material from around the button so you can't see it. I'm gonna put a little bit of hot glue right there on the thread, and then I can use that same bit of hot glue and I can hot glue my little button on. I'm gonna put one more button. So that's 2 buttons, and I'm gonna put one more button right there. I love using old material for projects and stuff because, you know, you get a chance to repurpose and reuse, and the material lives on, right? So I'll put that one there. And then I will put my little bow that I already made onto the top. So that it could be the same as the first one. And that is 2 down. And so then I will come back and share with you guys my glue gun down. I'll share with you guys a picture of all 3 of my little trees once I get the 3rd one done. But that is how you do these little trees. So super easy peasy, and I think they're super duper cute. So stay tuned for the picture at the end with all 3 trees, and I hope you guys are having an awesome day, and I will talk to you soon. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below, and I'll get back with you as soon as I possibly can. Take care, guys. Bye.